situation is such that an event is about to happen, then the management must take actions to deter the commission of the action, stopping that happening of this event. And the management should disclose it to the appropriate authority if it is provided in any law. But let's suppose the management does nothing. इन तीनों कामों में से कुछ नहीं करता है. Then the auditor has to take certain further actions. And here is an interesting third-party test. What kind of actions should the auditor take? So the actions should be such that a reasonable and informed person weighing all the specific facts, वो भी exactly यही action ले ले. So this test is actually a test from the observer's point of view. If somebody who is an observer, he sees all this happening, he gets all the information that the auditor has, then the kind of action he would take, the auditor must take it. Of course, this is all very subjective. Further actions may include disclosing to appropriate authorities even when it is not required by law. Law के अंदर नहीं लिखा हुआ, but still you go to the authority. Or you should withdraw from the engagement. Resign कर दें from the audit. But resigning is not the suitable way. If you resign, it's your duty that if the incoming auditor asks you about the NOCLAR situation, you have to actually give all the facts about the NOCLAR situation. This is in the... And appropriate authority could disclose karna is precluded if it is against the law. Now this part is the most important. Whether I should go to the appropriate authority for the non-compliance, we have to make a judgment. The judgment will be based whether there is a law against it or not. तो अभी हम discuss करेंगे in the panel discussion also, the CA ordinance 1961 has certain confidentiality clauses. And those clauses prohibit कि आप confidential information नहीं दे सकते हैं to another party unless the client gives you information. The auditor has to look at the situation also, bribery, threat to the license, risk to markets, public health and safety, scheme to evade taxes. These are matters which are considered significant and disclosure should be given to an appropriate authority. But this disclosure can only be given if such authority exists. तो किस authority को जाके हम ये appropriate information provide करें? The first instance is that such an authority should be there. Then the second is that credible protection should exist. Law के अंदर whistle blowing के कुछ provisions होने चाहिए. And then the last thing is the physical protection of the professional accountant is very important. So if you are afraid that कुछ physical harm हो सकता है, you should not go to the appropriate authority. Then the professional accountant who is in public practice but who is not doing audits, he should understand the issue, obtain understanding based on his knowledge. Yes, as before, he is not required to have extensive knowledge apart from whatever is required in his engagement. And professional accountant may confidentially consult within his firm, with professional body, with legal counsel. ये हमने पहले ही discuss कर लिया था. Once he understands the issue, he has to discuss with the appropriate level of management, and where he thinks that the management is also included, so he should go to those charged with governance. We are talking about professional accountants who are doing engagements which are not audits. Then he should decide whether he should inform the external auditor or not. You are not the auditor. Someone else is. You are doing another assignment. क्या आपकी responsibility है कि आप external auditor को ये information provide करें? If it is the same firm, one firm is the external auditor and they are also doing the assignment. It's quite easy. But the firm should have certain protocols of disseminating this information. So every firm should have one person, a contact person, to whom I can go and ask about non-compliance, and the firm should have procedures where this non-compliance may be disseminated to the other departments of the audit firm. If it is any other firm, I am doing an assignment but external auditor is a different person, a different firm, then the auditor has to take professional judgment. Once again the judgment comes in, whether to disclose it or not. And the judgment will be based on whether it is contrary to law or not. Restrictions regulatory agency से तो नहीं है, investigative engagement है. If it is an investigative engagement, then you cannot give this information to others. You have to actually report to the person to whom you are responsible. And already the auditor, the external auditor, has already been informed by the client. If this is the situation, then you don't have to do anything. And once again, materiality comes in. This all depends on if the transaction is material or not. Further actions may include disclosing to appropriate authority, withdrawing from the engagement, and we don't have any test here. So we don't have the third party reasonableness test which we discussed in the external auditor part. So दो actions हो गए. One action is you should disclose it to appropriate authority, and the other action could be that you withdraw from the engagement. Then a professional accountant in business who is in a senior position, for example, head of a department, a financial controller, etc. He finds a non-compliance happening in the company. He should obtain understanding of the matter. He is not required to have extensive knowledge beyond what is required to perform his role, and he can consult within his organization, with the professional body, or with the legal counsel. If he understands the issue and he thinks that this is very important, he can discuss with the management. He can go to those charged with governance. How will he address this matter? जब वो information दे देगा to those charged with governance, then they should actually take certain steps to stop this non-compliance. They should comply with the laws, rectify, remediate, mitigate the consequences, deter the commission. If they are not doing this, then the professional accountant in business, the senior accountant, he has to make a judgment whether to disclose it to the external auditor or not. And once again, a third party test comes in. So this third party test is for external auditors and for the senior professional accountants who are working in business. A third party test is, how would a reasonable person act if he gets the same information and the same facts? Further actions, he may disclose it to the parent company if it is a group of companies. He may disclose it to appropriate authorities even when it is not required by law. He can resign from the employment. Bribery, threat to license, risk to markets, public health and safety, evading taxes, these are the situations in which he may decide, he may judge whether to disclose to an appropriate authority or not. But once again, authority should be there. There should be credible protection for in the law and the physical